Without ships and shipping, there can be no maritime domain. Hello and welcome to Nimasa This Week, the Voice of Maritime. And it is brought to you every week by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, the nation's apex regulator and promoter, and also provider for the Nigerian maritime industry. On today's episode of the program, we bring you the concluding installment of my interview with the Director General of Nimasa, Dr. Bashir Jamo, on the agency's outlook and expectations for 2021, where he focused on the third leg of the Nimasa performance tripod, shipping development. And as I said earlier, without ships and shipping, there can be no maritime domain. Also on the program, we've got a new segment for you today titled Inside Shipping. We are determined to ensure that you get to experience the full complement of what shipping and shipping development is about. And on Inside Shipping today, we go on board the special mission vessel DB Abuja to understand the essence of that vessel, its category, and what that vessel is designed to accomplish. Following that is our conversation with the Executive Director Operations here at Nimasa, Mr. Shehu Hamed, where he takes us into what the Operations Directorate will be focused on in 2021 as it relates to the expectations of the stakeholders. And of course, our other regulars that you've come to know the program with. So if you're ready, as we say here at Nimasa, anchors away.
Captain Taiwo Akinpelumi. I'm the MD and CEO of Oceanic Energy Limited. I'm a master mariner. You are watching Nimasa This Week, the Voice of Maritime.
Welcome back. We're still aboard the special mission vessel DB Abuja, Deep Blue Abuja. And my conversation with Dr. Bashir Jamo, the Director General of Nimasa, continues. Dr. Jamo, you've talked to us about your performance tripod. I mean, we at Nimasa, we know it as Triple S, and we sing about it virtually every day. It's there in your office, it's a banner, it's clear for everyone to see, and we're all moving in that direction. And interestingly, you've talked about maritime security. Being on this vessel is a testimonial to that fact. And we've talked about maritime safety, and you've given us timelines. So let's go to the third one, Dr. Jamo.
Well, the third one has to do with shipping development. And the shipping development, the concept that will now breed an alternative source of revenue for the Nigeria. First, let me start with what we have under the shipping itself and the shipping to develop the shipping itself. You can't develop shipping once you don't have fleet. So when we are now developing shipping, the first thing we look into the fleet expansion. What do we do with fleet expansion? If you take the statistics of the ship owners in Nigeria today, the seagoing vessel is almost 0.5. That is close to nothing. So the first thing we need to do is to make sure that we encourage Nigerians to own ships. With over 200 million populations and import-oriented economy, we certainly have a number of cargo to carry. And when you go back to the crude oil, we are the one that laid the golden egg, one of the 10 majors, if not 5, in terms of export of crude oil. But we don't have vessels to carry. So we have the cargo available, but we don't have the ships to carry. And that fleet expansions entails of ship ownership. So in terms of ship ownership, the Honorable Minister of Transportation inaugurated committee for us to look at the gray areas of our own cabotage vessel financing fund, which is popularly known as CVFF guidelines, and see where we have some lacunas and kind of bottlenecks. So when he looked at that, he inaugurated a committee chaired by me as DG Nimasa to go and look at the guidelines and propose a kind of amendment If need be, we have to go back to the National Assembly for the amendment. Then when we amend it, our funds are there in TSA, Central Bank, so that we can now start utilizing it, giving out loans for Nigerians to own these vessels. So you can see now, on the issue of shipping development, we have taken a step for us to encourage the indigenous shipping companies and indigenous ship owners to increase and own a fleet of ships that we can build our own tonnage and the number of ships we have carrying the Nigerian flag. It's been estimated that about over 2,000 vessels do come across the Gulf of Guinea. But at the end of the day, 70% of those vessels came into Nigerian territorial waters. And we don't have the capacity to maintain those vessels. We don't have the capacity to service those vessels. The spare parts those vessels need, we don't have it. The bunkers that we have to provide for those vessels, we don't have. So it is my own belief and think that all these areas mentioned need to be looked into. We have to develop a kind of policy interventions that will allow Nigerians to participate in the business of ship repairs, in the business of spare parts for vessels business, in the business of bunkers, that is legal bunkers. How you have your own car, you need to go to filling station and buy oil. If you have your ship, you have to bunker your own ship. So, and as well as fresh water and many other businesses. So we have to have a kind of interventionary policies and interventionary policies that will give Nigerians leeway to venture into those business. Now, in doing so, the federal government's already started that. We just brought in our own brand new modular floating dock, and we intend to deploy this modular floating dock before the end of first quarter of 2021. As you are aware, we are now about to conclude the issue of floating maritime bank for the West African coast, and we have reached an advanced stage for that. So these are the three layers of our own trefoil S in terms of maritime strategy to ensure that we develop the maritime industry and harness the estimated $1.6 trillion that the industry may provide if properly harnessed. The year 2021, for sure, is going to be a year not only for the maritime practitioners, for the entire Nigerians, because we must make sure that we provide something that will cushion the effect of the drop in purchase of crude oil and in the pricing of crude oil. So, and we have no alternative rather than our own waters and our own maritime industry.
In case you're just joining us, the program is still Nimasa This Week, the Voice of Maritime. This is our Inside Shipping segment. Every other week, we will take you inside a ship so that you can have the full complement of experiencing what actually happens on the vessel. Maritime is to be experienced. So if you're ready, we'll take you aboard Special Mission Vessel DB Abuja.
Special mission vessels are two in number, the Deep Blue Abuja and the Deep Blue Lagos. These special mission vessels are the maritime components of the entire Deep Blue project. We have the air component too, we have the land component, and this aspect is the one that deals with the assets for the maritime company.
You're welcome, sir, to DB Abuja Bridge. Sir, please have a seat here. This is a bridge for DB Abuja. DB Abuja is one of the special mission vessels for the Deep Blue project, and this ship arrived from the Netherlands December 2019. Right here is where the ship is being controlled. At this end, we have the navigation system all the way down to that end. So the propulsion system, that's the navigation system over there. So we have the entire West African coast, our own territorial waters. Everything is there electronically, and we can navigate within our waters and beyond on our own. So we also have all these, the GMDSS, Global Maritime Distress Signal, to receive distress signals that originate from IMO. What you have here is more like a machinery control room, but in a modern way. The ship's machineries and everything is being controlled from here. It's done by voice command as well. So down here, we also have the ship's machinery, which is being monitored from this angle here. And then this ship has a unique positioning system, navigation system called the dynamic positioning system. It enables the ship to maintain its position as we are right now. We've been at this very spot, no movement, for the past 3 hours, and it is all due to the aid of this computer. It continues to calculate and compensate for movement of the seawater, tide, and wind, thereby keeping the ship in one place. Without this, we would have been drifting all over the place, and someone would have to man the controls and maneuver the ship, which is not economical. So that's a very good system on the ship. We have some systems here that will enable this ship perform the task it is meant to perform, which is maritime security. Behind there, we have the helicopter control unit. This ship is capable of receiving and launching the helicopter and unmanned aerial vehicle as well. The UAV that will be operated on this vessel is capable of remaining on task for about 8 hours, which is very good. In addition, when we go out to the helo hangar, you'll be able to see the interceptor boat that is attached to this ship. Every time we go to sea, we're supposed to have a maritime interdiction unit stationed on board that will be used for interdiction purpose. That is a craft that they will utilize for that such missions, and the craft is capable of attaining speeds of about 45 knots. It has 300 horsepower outboard engines, and I don't think there's any threat out there that we cannot reach. This ship also will be integrated with the C4I center and the helicopter. Everything will be integrated. So whatever the helicopter is seeing, we can see also. Whatever the drone is seeing, we can see. And whatever is being seen in the C4I center, we'll also see right here. So all this shows how the performance of this craft will be. It's a very versatile craft. And it's also a hybrid vessel. It can remain at sea prolonged without any need for replenishment for 33 days, which is very good because of the kind of propulsion system it uses. It's hybrid, both electrical and diesel.
This is the first time we're having an articulated, robust initiative that engages all the security services, the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Navy, the Nigerian Air Force, the Department of State Security, with Nimasa coordinating. We've deemed it necessary that we should be able to articulate and put these various forces together, giving it a civilian coloration to see how we can take care of maritime insecurity, maritime pollution, and also deal with our obligations as a maritime administration with respect to the tenets and directives of the International Maritime Organization, the IMO. Now, we have been able to put these forces together and under the Deep Blue project to now see how the way the Air Force can intervene, the way the Army can intervene, the way the Navy can intervene, and the way the police can intervene. Our parent ministries were the ones that pulled this initiative, the Ministries of Defense and Ministries of Transportation. So we have the two ministers of Defense and Minister of Transportation at the helm of the affairs, with the Office of National Security Advisor driving this initiative. All the service chiefs are members of this team, of the steering committee that oversees this project. The Deep Blue project was initiated in 2017 and started running in 2019. And now we are still, all the assets are almost here, about 80% of the assets are here. It's the COVID-19 that just made the issue that the special mission helicopters and the special mission vessel, every other asset that is required for this project is on ground. The Command and Control Center has been functional since August 2019, and that has been the brainchild of this project. So we hope that once we get the structures up in place, the SOP has been drafted, the organogram, everything, a Deep Blue commander is appointed, Nimasa takes its role, the Ministry of Transportation takes its role, the Ministry of Defense takes its role there. It's going to be very seamless because currently all ministries and the parastatals and the services involved in this whole initiative are cooperating at the maximum. Yeah, it should be the first time I feel that this agency will deliver to Nigerians the most expected, the much expected intervention in our maritime space with respect to maritime insecurity. We are looking forward to a situation whereby we can answer to most of the questions that are yet unanswered to the critical stakeholders who have been so tormented by the situation we have in terms of maritime insecurity in our maritime space, with extension to the Gulf of Guinea. We know how the outlook it has in the maritime space, but we are looking forward to a situation whereby the operators can, close their eyes and go to bed and make sure, and we know that their investments are well protected. Without security, we can't trade, and maritime trade is the most sustainable trade we have in the world because, like I say, 70% of the goods and services are moved on water. And if we can't protect our maritime domain to ensure that those investors can come here to invest in our maritime domain, it will be a wasteful venture because we have the endowment in terms of the coastlines, in terms of manpower, etc., in terms of resources. And I know the way the Chief Executive and Executive Management is looking forward to make sure that all that is expected of this project is delivered so that we can move on to the next stage.
Welcome back. We're still talking 2021, expectations and outlook. Our conversation with the Executive Director Operations here at Nimasa, Mr. Shehu Ahmed, takes us into a dimension that has come to represent 70% of the activities of the agency. Operations, from safety to security, and all of those critical elements that keep the engine of our maritime activities here at Nimasa rolling.
In terms of the key challenges in 2020, everybody knows that the COVID-19 had impacted negatively in regards to a lot of our activities. Our ability to conduct the agency's core function has been hindered a great deal. It also impacted on the commercial activity in the Nigerian waters, which has a multiplier effect in the overall generation of our revenue activities. The other challenges that we do not have control is the challenge of the delay in implementing the global maritime distress and safety system in order for us to reposition the modular floating docks and then to revitalize the C4I. So these are some of the major challenges that I can able to quickly remember. We are expected to aggressively go the whole hog in trying to compensate the failure of 2020 to revitalize some of our desirable program, to expect the adoption of comprehensive measures designed to protect the Nimasa personnel, ship crew, and the stakeholders in the face of the continuing pandemic. So from 2020 to 21, we are expected to look at those areas and then take advantage of the measures government has put in place, and then we build on it to see that we have achieved the desired objective. We are also expected to sustain and boost the enforcement capability in the area of anti-piracy operations in the Gulf of Guinea, anticipation of the operationalization of the Deep Blue Sea. We are expected to have completed in the first quarter on some of the remaining part of the Deep Blue Sea project, because majority of the assets have been delivered. We are expected to get the balance of the assets that are yet to be delivered. Now, in terms of the shipping development issue, when we came in, we reviewed and found that a lot of debts that are owed the agency. Now, we try as much as possible to introduce new measures in terms of computerization of our system, generating information on hand, and then try to, as much as possible, to enhance the revenue generation of the agency. In 2021, Nimasa is doing everything possible to make 2021 a fruitful year to the benefit of all stakeholders.
Indeed, there's a lot going on in Nigeria's maritime domain, and we'd like you to be a part of that conversation. I'd like to read you a tweet by the DG of Nimasa from his Twitter handle, @JamoBashir. And it is with reference to his visit to the Accra of Badagry recently, in light of the planned Badagry deep sea ports. And he says, seaports are the gateways to economic prosperity. More seaports mean more seaborne trade, more ships, tonnage, revenue, and even employment. Thank you, Accra of Badagry, for your hospitality and generosity in allotting at Nimasa official a land to build a base for Nimasa's operations in anticipation of the planned deep sea port. So we can continue the conversation with the DG of Nimasa at his Twitter handle, @JamoBashir. Likewise, you can follow Nimasa on all of our official social media handles @NimasaOfficial. And of course, you can visit our website to find out more and to know where you can key into what's going on presently in the Nigerian maritime space.
Governor Doye Diri of Bayelsa State, and you are watching Nimasa This Week.
We hope you've enjoyed today's episode of the program, Nimasa This Week, the Voice of Maritime. Let's keep the conversation going. My name is Ubong Isian, and I leave you with the words of Oliver Wendell Holmes when he said, "To reach the port of success, we must sail, sometimes with the winds, sometimes against the winds, but we must sail, never drifting nor lying at anchor." Nimasa is sailing, and we encourage you to join us as we sail to the endless possibilities of economic prosperity as it relates to our maritime potential. I'll see you next time.